Hello everyone, today we are doing a tournament of Defunct NHL teams. Teams will consist of players from their all-time rosters. Players can appear on multiple teams and their ratings will be judged on their performance with said teams. We have 8 teams that will be split into 2 groups. The top 2 teams in each group will advance to a single game elimination playoff where the top team will play the second place team of the other group. Let's get started. First up is the Atlanta Thrashers, who existed from 1999 to 2011. The Thrashers have some legit stars on offense with Savard, Kovalchuk, and Danny Heatley, along with some nice depth. The defense is mediocre but has some nice defensive D-men. Kari Lehtinen will get the start in net. Next is the Quebec Nordiques. They existed from 1972 to 1995. An offense that possesses quite a few Hall of Famers, also the Stastny line, who famously defected from communist-controlled Slovakia to play in the NHL. To learn more about that, check out Breakaway, probably my favorite book. Again, the defense is not that strong, a common theme with these deceased teams. In net, Bouchard gets the call. Now the Minnesota North Stars, who played from 67 to 93. The North Stars offense is led by Mike Modano and Dino Ciccarelli. The depth is not the greatest though. Again, weak D, not many game changers there. Maniago is in between the pipes. Last is the Kansas City Scouts, who existed only from 1974 to 1976. So a few years gives them nothing on offense, defense, or in net. Day 1, Game 1, Atlanta would walk right over the Scouts, 3-0 final. Game 2, Minnesota would score first, but Quebec would score 3 goals and win 3-1. Day 2, Minnesota would put up a valiant fight, but a late goal from Hossa would give the Thrashers a win, 4-3 final. Game 4 was a shootout as the Scouts would put up 3, but the Nordiques would double that and win 6-3. Day 3, Game 5. In a game for first place, both goaltenders would play great, but the Nordiques would win it 2-1. Final game of the group for third place, Minnesota would beat the Scouts 3-2. The final standings for the group are the Nordiques in first with 9, the Thrashers in second with 6, Minnesota third with 3, last the Scouts with 0. The player of the group is Joe Sakic, who finished with 5 points, or being involved in just under 50% of Quebec's goals. First up is the Hartford Whalers, who played from 1972 to 1997. The Whalers' offense will be led by Ron Francis, along with some great depth pieces. They also probably have one of the better Ds. In net, they also have probably the best goaltender in the tournament with Sean Burke. Next is the Winnipeg Jets, who existed from 1972 to 1996. The offense is loaded with Hall of Famers. The defense has the best defenseman in the tournament with Housley. Bob Essensa is the Jets' goaltender. Third is the California Golden Seals. The Seals were part of the 6-team expansion in 1967, but would be out of the league by 1976. In 9 seasons, they never had one winning season. That obviously results in the team having little talent. Our last team is the Colorado Rockies. Sharing the same name as the current MLB team, the Rockies played from 1976 to 1982. The Rockies never had more than 22 wins or under 40 losses. Again, little talent comes from losing. The team did have Hall of Famer Lanny McDonald though, and were coached by Don Cherry at one point. Day 1, Game 1. The Rockies would score 3 in the first, but then the Whalers came storming back to tie it. In overtime, Joe Quenneville would score and give the Whalers a win. Game 2, the Seals would score 2 in the first and starve a late comeback attempt to upset the Jets 2-1. Day 2, Game 3. Hartford would post 3 straight goals. The Seals would score late, but the final score is 3-1 Whalers. The Jets' poor play would continue as they lose to the Rockies 2-1 and are eliminated in Game 4. The Jets would go 0 for 3 in the tournament as they lose to the Whalers 5-1. In a game for second place, the Seals would shut out the Rockies and win 1-0. So our final standings, the Whalers in first with 8, the Seals in second with 6, Rockies third with 4, and in last the Jets with a goose egg. The player of the group is Andrew Castles, who scored 3 goals and had 1 assist for the Whalers. In Game 1, we have the Quebec Nordiques versus the California Golden Seals, and on the other side, we have the Hartford Whalers taking on the Atlanta Thrashers. The Nordiques taking on the Seals. Quebec would score first 5 minutes into the game. To the second, where the Seals would tie it up at 1. 21 seconds left, the Seals take a penalty, and the Nordiques would capitalize on it. Quebec wins 2-1, they move on to the finals. To Hartford, where it's the Whalers versus the Thrashers. Atlanta would get 2 quick ones to start the game. The Whalers would pick up the pressure though late in the first and eventually get their first. Early in the second though, Atlanta would extend their lead back to 2. To the third, almost halfway, Hartford pulls within 1. 30 seconds ago, Atlanta takes a penalty. Hartford could not capitalize though, and Atlanta moves on to the finals. Now in the finals, the Quebec Nordiques versus the Atlanta Thrashers. Atlanta versus Quebec, here we go. Atlanta would start off strong, but in the second, Quebec would turn up the pressure and score their first halfway through. 1 minute later though, Atlanta scores to tie it. Halfway through the third, with a rocket from the point, Quebec takes the lead. Atlanta would score and tie it again. Again and again, these teams going back and forth, as Quebec would get the go-ahead goal to take the lead. 33 seconds left. Danny Heatley gets a partial breakaway, but Bouchard makes the save. 20 seconds left though, Kovalchuk ties it. In overtime, at the end of it, 44 seconds left, Ron Havesley wins it for Atlanta. Atlanta is your champion. They are your best defunct NHL team. Thanks for watching, everybody. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, like me on Facebook, check out the subreddit. Speaking of the subreddit, Dunny Bunny submitted the best defunct team idea to the subreddit. If you post your video idea there, I'm more likely to see it. Also, check out my last video where I test out what if there were no NHL players allowed in the Olympics. Again, thanks for watching. Bye. Bye. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of comments saying I rigged it now.